Okay, so this video is just going to be pretty quick. It's how to use the customer manager during the checkout process to verify the SAM login credentials that we're getting from our customers. So I'm going to take a registration that we've never used for a demo, so that way it's fresh. I'm going to set the renewal, the short renewal URL here, and then I'm going to go to SAMServiceDesk.com/renew. Click on the customer. Now what will happen is when the customers are checking out, they're going to enter their renewal information in on this first page. So while they're completing the second and third step, we need to double check that their information is good. So this will be a username and this will be a password. And this registration was like Wood Lake City or something like that, so we'll type in Wood. Is this email still valid? Yes. Great. Now the customer is going to be on this customer information page. In the meantime, what we need to be doing is making sure that we can use their access credentials, because if not, then we're going to have to take a couple steps to reset it, and we'll go over that. So right here you can see if we go to the customer manager, while we know the customer is filling it out, and usually we're talking with them as they do it so we can hear what step they're on. Usually I tell them to let me know when they're going to proceed to the next page, so that way I have an indication that this step is complete. I'm going to click on this little picture of the person there, and it's going to load up their registration user ID and password. Alright, so now that we have this email, user ID, and password, we have everything we need to be able to go to SAM.gov and either log in or reset their credentials. Now there's a couple of different systems. I'll show you the one I use personally, and I'll explain the differences. So what we're going to want to do is cut and paste their username and password into these boxes and give it a login test. Now, if you're able to successfully log in, this is the screen you should see. It should bring you to the SAM terms and conditions. So this was another registration I just logged into that we have the credentials for. It lets me log in, but you didn't need to click accept. You just get to this user credentials page, or the terms of service page rather. So now in the event that we had tried to log in with bad info, let's just screw this password up. It's going to give me a message that says user password combination you provided did not match our records. So now more commonly, another error that you would see is an expired password error. So you got to look at this message that comes back. If it says username and password combination didn't match, well, we don't know if it was the username or if it was the password. If it says your password is expired right here, then we know the username is good, but the password needs to be reset because it's hasn't been changed in the last 180 days, and it's time to do the reset. So when you get this error though, this is the concerning error because you're not sure if they entered the wrong username or the wrong password. So there's two methods for this. You can either go to forgot username and request their username first, which will send it to their email, the SAM email that they're entering. So this email here would be the email that this is going to go to, their SAM email. So what we could do, let's go to forgot username. Now, God forbid the username and password comes back wrong. It says error mismatch, right? If we put their email in here, I'm going to show you what will happen if you get an error with an email. So I'm going to put my email in here because I do not have a SAM registration. And we're going to do this stupid CAPTCHA thing. Alright, so if you type in what the hell? Hold on. CAPTCHA must have went through. So let's try this one more time. Stop. Okay, there you go. System was unable to find a user account associated to this email address. So if you put in a bad email address, like the person that's giving us their email, and it turns out that's not their SAM email, it'll give you this message. Now they're going to have to try to figure out what their SAM email is, because if we don't have their email and their username and password is bad, we're screwed. But anyways, back to the normal situation of the username and password being bad. We have two different options to either try to retrieve their username by doing a forgot username, Or what I like to do is do a forgot password first. So usually when I get that mismatch, what I will try to do, my first step upon receiving the mismatch or the expired message, because with the expired message, remember, we got to do the forgot password. I try their username and email, because that's what those are the only two pieces of criteria it's going to ask me for to do a forgot password, and it verifies both at the same time. If I put their email in here and I put their username in here, and I do a forgot password, and the forgot password is actually successful, then we know that their username and their password is good. And their username in this example case. So we'll do this captcha down here. We'll click next, and it'll say password confirmation. It'll say we're going to send you a confirmation email to reset. Would you like to continue? And you click yes, and then it sends them the reset email. So this is something that we're going to go through in person a couple different times, but pretty much the basic idea is, while they're filling out this process, we need to go over here and copy their username and password and copy their email and start testing it out. If the login fails and we get a mismatch, then we need to identify by trying the combination of forgot password first and then forgot username what the problem is. Is it the username and password? Is it just the username? Is it the password? So this forgot password thing is something that we do pretty much almost every single registration. I'd say the majority of them fail. Probably about 90% of the passwords are expired. People usually update their registration and then do not log back in for a whole calendar year. So they always miss that 180-day cutoff. But getting in the habit of pulling up SAM.GOV right when the person says that they're going to proceed with actually paying us, and then going to the customer manager and talking to them and kind of trying to feel what step they're on, and let me know when you click that verify registration button step, and they say okay, I clicked it, and then you go over here and instantly log into here and try to swipe it. Now if they get all the way to the payment stage and we've already taken their payment and we're still not able to access that registration, at that point, we really try to avoid it, but it happens sometimes. At that point, you want to either get myself or get Valerie or get another administrator using GLIP or right through Ring Central and say, hey, listen, somebody made it all the way to the end, you need to issue a refund, because what we'll do is refund that person immediately and then send them a notification that they've been refunded. And there's alternative ways that we can gain access to their registration. The Federal Service Desk offers like the ability for us to do notarized letters, for instance. Notarized letters, like we have to actually physically mail a letter, have the company notarize it, send it to the government to authorize us to access their account. We do them sometimes. Most of the time we don't. I'd rather just refund the money, because what happens is we won't be able to access it, we won't be able to process the service, and then it'll lead to a chargeback down the road. So yeah, it's just a quick overview of this, and this is something that we're going to spend more time in person actually going through, so you guys can see all the outcomes without me having to send forgot passwords and forgot usernames to my already existing customers.